Welcome back to Unstoppable Mind today, where we uncover the hidden paths to success that traditional education often fails to teach us. Meet Daniel, a young student trapped within the walls of a university, feeling completely disconnected from the theoretical world around him. While the professor spoke of abstract theories, Daniel's mind was occupied with designs, textures, and the smell of premium crafted leather. His lack of attention did not go unnoticed, creating a rift between him and the academic expectations placed upon his shoulders. He felt like an outsider in a system designed for conformity, wondering if his passion was actually a curse in disguise. Every night, while others studied for exams, Daniel poured his soul into crafting leather goods, finding peace in the manual labor. However, his dedication to his craft came at a steep cost, leading to a moment that would change his life forever. The university had decided that his academic performance was insufficient, expelling him from the program and shattering his perceived future prospects. Packing his bags felt like admitting defeat, as he prepared to leave the environment that society told him was necessary for success. The hardest part was not leaving school, but facing the disappointment of his parents who had sacrificed so much for his education. The silence in the living room was deafening, heavier than any shouting match, as his parents processed the news of his failure. He felt like a total failure, convinced that without a degree, he had closed the doors to a respectable and stable life. The whispers of society and relatives echoed in his mind, branding him as the dropout who threw away a bright future. He tried to fit into the corporate world, but door after door slammed in his face due to his lack of credentials. With nowhere left to turn, he channeled his frustration into the only thing that made sense to him, his leather work. But passion alone was not enough. He sat for hours at local markets, watched by indifferent crowds who ignored his creations. The reality of business hit him hard as he struggled to make ends meet, realizing that skill alone does not guarantee income. One fateful afternoon, a distinguished gentleman stopped at his booth, looking past the humble setup and focusing on the product quality. This was Robert Martinez, a self-made entrepreneur who saw something in Daniel's work that the boy could not yet see himself. He asked about the process, and for the first time in months, Daniel spoke with the fire and passion of a creator. Robert handed him a card and offered him a chance to learn how the real world of business actually operates. The next day, Daniel stood before Robert's headquarters, a testament to what can be built without a degree but with immense drive. Robert walked him through the floor, showing him that success leaves clues, and none of them were found in a textbook. Sitting in his office, Robert revealed that he too had no degree, but he had mastered 3 essential elements of success. He began the first lesson, explaining that the world does not pay for what you know, but for what you can do. Real skills are about the ability to create something that people actually want, solving problems that others are afraid to touch. He told Daniel that while his hands were skilled at crafting, he lacked the vital skills of sales and money management. For the next few weeks, Daniel stepped out of his comfort zone, learning to communicate the value of his work to others. Failure was no longer a stop sign but a lesson, as Robert taught him that every no brings you closer to a yes. He devoured books on finance and marketing, realizing that self-education is a lifelong journey that goes far beyond the classroom walls. He began to treat his passion not just as a hobby, but as a serious business that required structure and strategy. Robert saw the spark in Daniel's eyes turn into a flame as the young man grasped the importance of real skills. The second lesson was about proof. Robert explained that in the real world, nobody cares about your grades, only your output. He emphasized that while degrees prove you can follow instructions, building something from scratch proves you can solve real-world problems. Daniel started to focus on presenting his work professionally, letting the quality of his product speak louder than any resume could. Slowly but surely, the market responded, and the notifications of new orders became the validation he had been desperately seeking. He understood that every happy customer was a building block for his reputation, a tangible result that could not be faked. Positive reviews began to pour in, serving as the real-world report card that truly mattered for his future success. When he showed the reviews to Robert, the mentor smiled, knowing that Daniel had crossed the bridge from student to practitioner. The final lesson was the most subtle yet powerful. Success is built on the foundation of trust and genuine human connection. Robert taught him that business is not just about transactions, but about building meaningful relationships with partners, suppliers, and customers. Daniel pushed himself to attend networking events, realizing that your network is indeed your net worth in the business world. He learned to give value first, helping others without immediate expectation of return, which built a reservoir of goodwill. The power of relationships became clear when a satisfied customer recommended him for a large corporate contract, a huge breakthrough. Signing that contract felt better than any grade he could have received, a testament to the trust he had earned. He celebrated with Robert, acknowledging that he could never have reached this point without the guidance of a true mentor. Looking back, the expulsion that once felt like a death sentence was actually the catalyst that forced him to evolve. He had transformed from a confused boy seeking validation into a man who understood how to create value for the world. His parents finally visited his workshop, their skepticism melting away as they witnessed the tangible reality of his hard work. The look of pride in his father's eyes was the final closure Daniel needed, proving that there is more than one path. Now, Daniel pays it forward, teaching young apprentices that while education is valuable, it is not the only definition of intelligence. His hands, once idle in a classroom, now shape the world around him, proving that practical skills are a currency forever. The workshop stands as a monument to resilience, a place where passion meets discipline to create something of lasting value. He documented the 3 pillars Robert taught him, ensuring that these lessons would guide him through every future challenge he faced. Real skills, real results, and real relationships. These are the keys that unlock doors which no diploma can ever open. He watches students walk to class not with envy, but with hope that they too will find their own unique path. The mentor and the student had become equals, united by the shared understanding that success is earned, not given. His products now sit on the shelves of high-end stores, a physical manifestation of his refusal to accept the label of failure. When asked about his success, he speaks not of grades, but of the grit and determination required to build a dream. He achieved freedom not by following the herd, but by daring to listen to the calling of his own unstoppable mind. It was not easy, and there were many nights where he wanted to quit, but the vision of success kept him going. He made peace with his past, realizing that his time at university was just a detour to get him where he belonged. Now he speaks to others who feel lost, telling them that their potential is not limited by a piece of paper. He ignites hope in those who don't fit the mold, showing them that the world is big enough for different kinds of success. He reminds them that success has no single template, and that the most successful people often color outside the lines. His tools are his weapons, and his workshop is his battlefield, where he fights for his vision every single day. As he expands his business globally, he remains grounded in the principles that got him started: quality, integrity, and hard work. He built a culture where skills are valued over titles, creating a haven for other talented individuals who were overlooked. His brand stands for more than just leather. It stands for the courage to pursue one's dreams against all odds. Robert returned one day with a gift, a symbol of the bond that had formed between the master and the apprentice. It was his old leather mallet, passed down as a torch to the next generation of builders and creators. Holding that tool, Daniel felt the weight of responsibility to continue the legacy of practical excellence and genuine value. He works with renewed vigor, knowing that he is part of a lineage of people who build the world with their hands. Late nights are no longer a burden but a choice, fueled by the joy of creating something that is truly his own. His relationship with his family has healed, bridged by the understanding that his happiness was the ultimate measure of success. While the world worries about job security, Daniel rests easy knowing he has the power to create his own opportunities. Money became a tool, not a goal, a resource to expand his vision and help more people realize their potential. He began funding scholarships for vocational training, supporting those who wanted to master a craft rather than just study theory. Seeing others thrive through his support gave him a sense of fulfillment that no corporate paycheck could ever provide. Together with Robert, he opened a center dedicated to teaching the real-world skills that schools often neglect. The Academy of Real Skills became a beacon for those seeking a different path, a place where potential met opportunity. Here, students learned not just how to make things, but how to sell them, manage money, and build lasting networks. Daniel shared his story of expulsion openly, turning his greatest shame into his most powerful teaching tool for others. He showed them that a stumble is not a fall, and that sometimes you have to lose your way to find yourself. Robert watched with the pride of a father, seeing the cycle of mentorship complete as Daniel became a guide for others. Accolades began to follow, but Daniel remained humble, knowing that his true value lay in his daily work and impact. He kept his first failed wallet next to his awards, a constant reminder to stay hungry and never forget his roots. His quest for quality took him around the world, learning from masters of different cultures and expanding his expertise. He remained a student of life, always eager to learn new techniques and improve his craft, regardless of his success. Innovation became his trademark, blending traditional craftsmanship with modern business strategies to create something truly unique in the market. The market rewarded his dedication with overwhelming demand, proving once again that quality and story are the ultimate selling points. He shared the success with his team, understanding that a great leader creates more leaders, not just followers. Stories of changed lives filled the room, as his employees thanked him for looking at their potential, not their credentials. Standing on the balcony, he realized that the best degree he ever earned was the one he gave himself: experience. He mentally tore up the label of dropout, replacing it with innovator, leader, and creator of his own destiny. He began writing a book, wanting to share the blueprint of real skills, results, and relationships with the entire world. His words resonated with millions, sparking a movement that questioned the traditional path and celebrated practical intelligence. He met thousands of people who felt seen and understood for the first time, united by the desire to build. Parents brought their children to hear him speak, realizing that there are many ways to bloom in this life. He told the next generation to follow their curiosity and build real skills, for that is the surest path to security. Time passed, and the bond with Robert only grew stronger, a testament to the enduring power of a real relationship. Robert admitted that Daniel had taken the lessons and evolved them, achieving heights that even he had not imagined. But Daniel knew that without that first chance, without that mentorship, his potential might have remained forever dormant. The journey never truly ends. There is always a new design, a new problem to solve, a new level to reach. He looks at you now, challenging you to examine your own life and ask, are you building real value today? Success is not a destination, but a continuous process of refining your craft, serving others, and staying true to yourself. Just like a well-crafted wallet, a successful life is durable, functional, and gets better with age and experience. As he turns off the lights, he leaves behind not just products, but a philosophy that empowers others to rise. The drive home is peaceful, filled with the satisfaction of a day well spent in the pursuit of genuine excellence. He returns to his family, the ultimate reason for his hustle, providing them with a life of security and abundance. He teaches his children not just to be good students, but to be good learners, good listeners, and good creators. He vows to pass on the torch, ensuring that the lessons of real skills, results, and relationships live on. The sun rises on another day, and Daniel is ready to face it, armed with the unshakable confidence of a self-made man. The workshop comes alive, a symphony of productivity where every person plays a vital role in the collective success. He continues to push boundaries, never settling for good enough, always striving for the extraordinary in every single detail. His vision expands, looking towards new markets and new opportunities, guided by the principles that have never failed him. From a small dorm room to a global map, the journey of Daniel proves that limits are often just illusions. The boy who was once expelled is now the man who is setting the standard, a transformation fueled by resilience. Remember, a degree is a receipt for tuition paid. A skill is a check that you can cash forever. Do not let grades define your intelligence. Let your results define your capability and your contribution to the world. And never forget that business is human. Build trust, build bridges, and you will build a fortune that lasts. Daniel stands tall, not because of a certificate on his wall, but because of the solid foundation he built himself. He breathes in the air of possibility, knowing that his story is just one of many waiting to be written. Now it is your turn. What skills will you master? What results will you create? Who will you connect with? The world is waiting for your contribution. Do not let the lack of a traditional path stop you from starting. Go out there and build something real. Your potential is unstoppable if you are willing to do the work required. Thank you for joining us on this journey. If Daniel's story inspired you, please share it with someone who needs hope. Don't forget to like and subscribe to Unstoppable Mind today for more stories that fuel your ambition and drive.